It's 2047 in the morning. Your eyes are wide open, and your brain is currently relitigating a conversation from 2014. Not last week, not yesterday, 2014. You already said the thing. It went fine, everyone forgot. Except you. Here's the thing. Your brain isn't broken. It's actually doing exactly what it was built to do. You just weren't told what it was built for. So tonight, we're going to figure out the real reason you can't stop overthinking. Not the Instagram quote version, the actual, slightly uncomfortable neuroscience version. Let's start with a scene you'll recognize. You send a text, just a normal text. Hey, are you free Saturday? They read it. They don't reply for 6 hours. In those 6 hours, you have written an entire Netflix limited series in your head. You've imagined them mad at you. You've imagined a car accident. You've imagined that time in college you said something weird, and maybe they just now remembered it. They reply, yeah, sounds good. You have just burned an entire afternoon on a plot that never existed. That right there is your brain doing its favorite job. The job is not thinking. The job is threat detection. Your brain is a prediction machine. Its number one goal isn't to make you happy or productive or well-adjusted at parties. Its number one goal is to keep you alive. And 100,000 years ago, staying alive meant one thing above all else, noticing the danger before the danger noticed you. The humans who assumed the rustle in the grass was just the wind got eaten. The humans who assumed the rustle in the grass was a tiger, sprinted, and were wrong, lived to be embarrassed later. Guess which ones are your ancestors? You are the direct descendant of the most anxious, most suspicious, most what-if primates who ever lived. Congratulations, that's the software you're running. Psychologists call this negativity bias. Your brain treats negative information as more urgent, more real, and more worth remembering than positive information. Roy Baumeister and his colleagues published a now famous paper on this in 2001, and the title alone tells you everything. It's called Bad is Stronger Than Good. Their review found the same pattern across dozens of studies. Bad emotions, bad feedback, and bad memories hit harder and stick longer than good ones. One insult can outweigh 5 compliments. One awkward moment at dinner can headline the highlight reel for a decade. So when you can't stop replaying that thing you said, that's not a personality flaw. That's a feature. A feature you didn't ask for. Okay, but here's where it gets weirder. The tiger isn't out there anymore. Your ancient threat detection system is now living in a body that has a job, a phone, and a group chat. So it does the only thing it knows how to do. It scans. But instead of scanning the grass, it scans your inbox. It scans your boss's tone. It scans that pause your friend took before laughing. It scans your own face in the front-facing camera at a bad angle. And every ambiguous thing gets flagged as possible tiger. That's overthinking. It's your Stone Age alarm system trying to run modern software. There's a specific brain network responsible for a huge chunk of this, and it has a name that sounds like a bad rock band. It's called the default mode network. Neuroscientist Marcus Raichle helped identify it in the early 2000s. Here's the wild part. It's called default because it's what your brain does when you're not doing anything else. Sit still, stare out a window, wait for a microwave. Boom, default mode fires up. And what does it do in its free time? It time travels. It replays the past. It rehearses the future. It runs simulations of conversations that haven't happened with people who aren't there about problems that may not exist. Your resting brain is not resting. It's a screenwriter who's terrified of getting fired, pitching new drafts of your life all day. Now here's the part that should bother you. The default mode network is also where your sense of self lives, your identity, your inner narrator, the little voice that says, I. Which means when your brain overthinks, it doesn't just generate thoughts. It generates thoughts about you. Not a mistake was made, but I am the kind of person who makes mistakes. That's why overthinking hurts. It's not neutral analysis. It's your identity being cross-examined by your own head in a courtroom where you're also the prosecutor. And you never rest, counselor. Let's add another layer. Because it's not just biology, it's your history too. Psychologists like Susan Nolan Huxema spent decades studying something called rumination, basically overthinking's clinical name. Her research showed that people who ruminate a lot tend to believe something specific. They believe that if they just think about the problem hard enough, long enough, from enough angles, they'll finally solve it. Feel familiar? You're not overthinking because you love it. You're overthinking because somewhere, deep down, you believe it's working. You believe the 12th mental replay of that meeting will finally reveal the answer. It won't. Her studies found the opposite. Rumination doesn't produce insight. It produces more rumination. It's a wheel, not a road. The hamster runs. The wheel spins. The cage stays exactly where it is. Now think about where you learned this habit. Maybe you grew up in a house where you had to read the room every second, where a slammed door meant brace yourself, where love felt conditional on being good, and being good meant being perfect. If you had to predict other people's moods to stay safe, congratulations. Your brain got very, very good at prediction. It's still doing it, even when no one's mad, even when there's no door to slam, even when you're just trying to fall asleep. Overthinking for a lot of people is what a hyper-vigilant childhood grows into. It's not a character defect. It's an old survival skill that forgot to retire. There's another engine feeding this fire, and it's very modern. It's uncertainty. Your brain hates uncertainty. Actually, it hates uncertainty more than it hates bad news. Researchers at University College London ran a fascinating study in 2016. They gave people a task where they might get a small electric shock. Some people knew for sure they'd be shocked. Others only knew there was a 50-50 chance. The people who knew for sure were calmer. The ones stuck in maybe were the most stressed of all. Certainty of pain was easier than the possibility of pain. Read that again. Your brain would rather have a definite bad outcome than an unknown one. So, when a situation is ambiguous, the unread text, the vague email from your manager, the friend who's been weird lately, your brain does anything to escape that ambiguity, including inventing worst-case scenarios just so it has something concrete to react to. Overthinking is your brain trying to convert "I don't know" into "I know it's bad," because at least bad is a story it can plan around. That's why you sometimes feel a strange relief when you finally decide, yeah, they hate me. You didn't find truth. You just found a story, and your brain will take a scary story over no story every single time. Let's add one more piece: perfectionism. Psychologist Paul Hewitt and his colleagues have studied perfectionism for years, and one of their key findings is that perfectionism isn't really about high standards, it's about fear. Specifically, fear of being exposed as not good enough. A perfectionist doesn't overthink an email because they love writing. They overthink it because a typo in their head isn't a typo, it's evidence. Evidence of being sloppy. Evidence of being unprofessional. Evidence that one day, everyone will finally figure out you don't actually belong here. That's the overthinker's secret engine, not ambition, prevention. You're not trying to win, you're trying not to be found out. And here's the twist. The more you try to prevent every possible mistake, the more mental energy you burn and the more mistakes you actually make. The overthinker's paradox. Thinking so hard about not failing that you don't have any brain left to actually succeed. Okay? Deep breath, let's zoom out. Your brain is a threat detector. It runs a default mode network that never really shuts off. It confuses uncertainty with danger. It equates your worth with your performance. And it was possibly trained early in life to scan every room for signs that something's off. Put all of that together, and overthinking isn't a mystery anymore. It's practically the expected outcome. You're not broken. You're just running a very old operating system on a very new life. So here's the part almost nobody tells you. You will not solve overthinking by thinking harder about it. You cannot outthink an anxious brain, because the anxious brain is the one doing the thinking. That's like asking a fire to put itself out. What actually helps, according to a lot of the research on rumination, is not deeper analysis. It's a pattern interrupt. Movement, a walk, a cold splash of water on your face. A 5-minute change of scenery. Anything that yanks your brain out of default mode and forces it to notice the actual physical present. Because here's the strange truth. Your brain can't overthink and fully experience a moment at the same time. The present is overthinking's only real off switch. There is a study by Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert at Harvard, published in the journal Science in 2010. They pinged thousands of people at random moments through the day and asked what they were doing, what they were thinking about, and how happy they felt. The finding was blunt. People were less happy when their minds were wandering, no matter what they were wandering to. Even wandering to something pleasant made them less happy than just being present in what they were doing. The title of their paper says it best. A wandering mind is an unhappy mind. So, overthinking isn't just uncomfortable. It's actively taxing your happiness in real time. Now, this doesn't mean thinking is the enemy. Thinking is what built cities and vaccines and the meme you laughed at this morning. The difference between thinking and overthinking is simple. Thinking has an exit. Overthinking is a loop. Thinking asks, what's my next step? Overthinking asks, what if, and never accepts an answer. Thinking moves you forward. Overthinking moves you deeper into your own head. If you finish a thought session with a decision, even a small one, that was thinking. If you finish it more tired, more confused, and somehow angrier at yourself, that was overthinking. Same brain, very different tools. So here's your slightly uncomfortable takeaway. Your overthinking is not proof that something's wrong with you. It's proof that your brain is trying, very clumsily, to protect you. It's a bodyguard that never got the memo the war is over. You don't fire the bodyguard. You just stop taking every one of its warnings as gospel. The next time your mind starts building a courtroom in your head at midnight, try this. Don't argue with a thought. Don't fight it. Just notice it, name it. Oh, there's my brain doing its job, loudly. Then move your body, even for 60 seconds. Stand up. Walk to a window. Look at something more than 10 feet away. You're not silencing your brain. You're reminding it that the tiger is not in the room. And slowly, over time, your brain learns something new. It learns that not every silence is danger. Not every text is a verdict. Not every replay is a lesson. Some nights are just nights. Some conversations from 2014 are just conversations from 2014. And some of the most beautiful moments of your life are happening right now, quietly, while your brain is upstairs writing worst-case screenplays about a future that never arrives. You don't need a quieter mind to have a better life. You just need to stop believing everything the loud one says. If your brain does this too, the 2 a.m. replays, the phantom arguments, the invented catastrophes, you're going to feel very seen by what's coming next on this channel. Hit subscribe, drop a comment with the exact thought your brain won't let go of, and I'll see you in the next one.